Recorded Books presents Paris is a Party, Paris is a Ghost by David Hoon Kim. Narrated by Joji Otani-Hansen. Part 1. Fumiko. Sweetheart Sorrow. Fumiko had locked herself in her room. No amount of pleading or bargaining seemed to sway her resolve not to come out. We hadn't argued. 1 minute she was sitting on my bed, the next minute she wasn't. She lived 3 doors away, coming and going as she pleased, and it took a whole day for me to notice that anything was amiss. On the 3rd day, I went to see the concierge. I'd gotten as far as his door when it occurred to me that I could be making a terrible mistake. I was living illegally in my residence hall, a crumbling 12-story building named for a dead post-war French writer I had never read. My student identification card having expired a long time ago, I could not afford to get expelled from my room. Fumiko had locked herself up before, though she always emerged from her self-confinement after a night or two. There was a word my father sometimes used, back in Denmark, kærestesorg, sweetheart sorrow, to describe the sadness one feels at the thought of a love affair nearing its end, a sadness one is not yet ready to face. As I walked away without knocking, I could almost hear my father's voice in my head. Back at Fumiko's door, I called out her name, as loudly as I dared, not wanting to attract the attention of the other residents. Her voice, when it came to me from the other side, said it impossibly far away. "I'm sorry." "I know," I said, pressing my ear against the wood. "Just open the door, okay?" "I can't." "Why not?" "I can't." Another long silence. Then I heard her say, "J'ai froid. I'm cold." Or it could have been ta voix, your voice. The fact that so many French words rhymed with each other, coupled with Fumiko's difficulties in pronouncing them, resulted in frequent misunderstandings between us. "What did you say?" "Your voice." "My voice? What about my voice?" But she had gone silent again. I decided to take the air, visit the Latin Quarter. It wasn't yet evening, and the metro was abnormally quiet, a lull between rush hours. After getting off at Saint-Michel, I lingered a few moments at the station entrance. Thanks to the heat from the subway tunnels, the nearby trees hadn't yet lost their leaves, and the air smelled of mimosa and chestnut, even though winter was well underway. The guard at the entrance of the Sorbonne let me through, barely glancing at my expired identification card. Students loitered in groups in the main courtyard, bulky scarves wound elegantly around their necks. The marble-floored corridors were unheated. In the snack bar, empty white plastic cups stained with coffee littered the countertop. It was as if I had never been away. I walked past philosophie, histoire, littérature française, stopping at littérature générale et comparée, my former department. The benches were empty, no one waiting to see his thesis director. I scanned the walls. Among ads for au pair girls and cheap health insurance was a handwritten note covered with uneven, badly formed letters. Theoretical physicist seeks anglophone to translate treatise. 200 pages, 100 euros per page. Since abandoning my dissertation, I'd earned what money I could by giving English lessons to French high school students, teaching unruly adolescents how to pronounce their H's, and haggling with their stingy parents over my hourly rate. I knew nothing about physics, theoretical or not, yet the prospect of translating something, of not having to churn out anything in the way of original thought, appealed to me. I checked to see if anyone was watching, then tore off the piece of paper. On my way home, I pictured my employer to be presenting me to other colleagues, i.e., hypothetical physicists of theoretical physics, in need of a translator. A beggar making the rounds growled because I didn't drop anything into his grubby, outstretched hand. Closing my eyes, I imagined myself earning 2,000 euros a month, sitting in the backseat of a taxi with Fumiko next to me, as we cruised down the Avenue de la Grande Armée. The Grande Armée was the B-side of the Champs-Élysées, radiating from the opposite edge of the Place de l'Étoile. I was, if nothing else, a modest dreamer. At a telephone booth, I dialed the number. I could see my hall of residence from the booth, and I tried to find Fumiko's room among the tiny mirrored squares. Her last words to me, "Your voice, your voice, your voice," echoing in my head. Near the top, I noticed a solitary blind eye, one of the windows failing to reflect back the sun's dying rays. An open window in the middle of winter. I was counting off squares when, on the 9th ring, a man finally answered, introducing himself as
Sample complete. Ready to continue?